Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil.
Does Biden know what Mexico
policies.
is? Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at?
I think Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem?
Complete, absolute incompetence. Like, who funds the news?
It's a freaking inside job, man. That the entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Welcome back, anyone and everyone, to the Veritas Road. Carson and John here with you on this delicious Tuesday afternoon. And guys, it's time for Touch Me Tuesdays, where we talk about the things that touched me this week. And hopefully, we can touch you too. Before we get started, a couple of things to mention. First, give us a like, give us a follow wherever you're watching. Just hit that little thumbs up. That way you'll see it next time we go live with some stuff that's irrelevant for your life. And then, guys, we have a couple of guests coming up. We've got Andrew from 6G Agenda on June 7th, which is this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We've got Doc Brown from the Prometheus Lens podcast on the 14th, another Sunday, John, if that helps you people, on the 14th at 3 Central Time. That's 4 Eastern. Then we've got Stax Farmstead and his co-host Drew coming on the 19th at 7 p.m. Central Time. And then we have, you booked something else today, didn't you? It's not on the calendar.
Yeah, I haven't put it in yet. Ben Baumgartner of End of the World News is coming on the, give me just a second, June 24th.
June 24th.
At
what time?
7 p.m. Central.
At 7 p.m. Central. It's in the calendar.
Perfect.
And then we will be doing a show with Zach from the Berean Files on July 10th. Finished figuring out what we're going to talk about with him today. So don't let me forget to remind you of that, John. I don't want to
I would appreciate it.
forget that. So that's what we have going on. Guys, if you like the show, want to support the show, go check out, well, A, give us a like, give us a follow. It's the best way to support the show. B, go check out the Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com/the Veritas Road. You got a bunch of tiers there. You can get in where you fit in. We have increasing amounts of content that are going to be exclusively on Patreon. So go check that out. All right. What am I missing, John, before we get started?
I don't think you're missing anything.
All right. Well, guys, in honor of the month of June, happy Pride, folks. It's very exciting. And we just want to take a minute to celebrate the fact that we, love the idea that butt sex has its own month. We think that's very exciting here at the Veritas Road. We support that. We think you probably need a month for we think that's very important to the people out there. We think, dick-shaped candies are a valuable resource for a lot of people in the public. We think those are very important. We love dick-shaped balloons, leather vests, baggy basketball shorts for the ladies. And we're just very excited to be going into a very prideful month. And we wanted to show you guys this video. We're only going to play like the first 30 seconds maybe, but we wanted to show you guys this video to really let you know that, because it's Pride Month, that, there are spiritual entities out there. And this is just a lady friend of the show, talking about Satan. So let's listen. Fantastic. Yeah.
Is a liar. And you
Okay,
know what
pause
else
that,
he
John.
is?
Pause it. Pause it. Okay, now that's perfect. Thank you. Let's go.
So, if Satan
That
is trying...
really, pause that. All right, that really didn't hit, hearing it from two different spaces. Let's try that again. Roll it back to the beginning. Thank you.
The devil is a liar. And you know what else he is? So, if Satan is trying to make you feel some kind of way, if he is trying to make you feel unworthy of the love of God because of your shortcomings, your past sins, or anything like that, I've got something to share with you. So,
Dude,
Zechariah chapter 3.
All right. Is she just insanely loud, or was that just me? Johnny, there? Can you hear me?
My mic got muted. She's pretty loud.
Okay, that blew out my ears. All right, so start to the show aside. I thought that was pretty funny. The devil is I agree with this young lady, and I appreciate the fact that she took time away from her OnlyFans to let us know what her thoughts on spirituality are. I think that is a very good thing for her to do, and I appreciate the fact that she was willing to do that even in the month of June. Very appreciative of that. Now, I was perusing the Twitter, I believe, the other day, and I didn't mean to. It was the Facebook. I was perusing the Facebook the other day, and I don't know how many folks out there are familiar with the Georgia Guidestones and some of these New World Order agendas that are coming down the pipe. But one of the things that seems to be a staple of a lot of these, I don't even know what to call them, agendas, plans, conspiracies. I mean, I don't even know what to call them, but one of the things that seems to be integral to a lot of them is mass depopulation. This whole idea that the earth is just too full of and we need to cull a few. And so programs like the MAID program in Canada, some of the legalized euthanasia in Spain, it seems like they're heading more and more that direction in the UK as well. Programs like that are gaining popularity right now, and at this point, it doesn't really shock me too much anymore. It doesn't really surprise me too much anymore. But if you read like the Georgia Guidestones, I can't remember what the exact tenet on the Georgia Guidestones is. Let me find it real quick.
Let's maintain humanity's population under 500 million.
There it is. I thought it was 600 million, but close enough. Like maintain humanity's population under, let's say it's 500 million. That's a hell of a lot less than we have today, if you can believe the statistics
allegedly.
they put out there. Yeah, because I mean, who knows if those are true? Those are unfalsifiable, right? Like,
Yeah.
good luck counting all the bad in India. I mean, you're not going to be able to count all those motherfuckers. That's not happening. There's so many homeless people on the streets of New York and LA. Like, they all look like the same pile of garbage. You can't tell if one's 150 or a pile of shit. Like, you can't tell how many people are inside of that. And so it's borderline impossible to figure out how many people are around. And this claim that they're what are we up to? Like 8 billion people now, allegedly, in the world?
Something like that.
6 billion, 8 billion, who cares? It's a massive number. That is impossible to like verify, but it's always seemed interesting to me that the tenets of a lot of these, I don't even know what to call them, like cults, conspiracies, like New World Order organizations, they all seem to want to depopulate the earth. And I would have thought it would have been the opposite. Like, they would want people living in squalor, but also breeding like rabbits to, kind of do their will, but also be submissive. That would have been my guess. But it seems to be the opposite, and I still can't figure out what exactly the impetus is behind that. I find that very, very strange. Before we get into these, do you have what are your thoughts on that, John? I don't always like have any legitimate idea as to why these entities appear to want to reduce the population.
I don't know.
All right.
You know, I kind of, well, I kind of tend to agree with you a little bit there. It's like I can't put a rational thought to it. You know, part of me thinks that maybe that's not necessarily a legitimate view, as it's just this kind of out there to scare people. And more so as like it's kind of a problem reaction solution kind of thing, because like you said, we have no clue, right, how many people are actually on this place, or you know, and also we don't necessarily, you know, got to be careful. You don't know how big this place actually is. You have to kind of take all that with a grain of salt. But also is like they want to sell this problem of like we're overpopulated, we're overcrowded, and then that problem, like humans are a plague kind of thing. And it's like, right, the more of them, like the more problems that it causes, and like the more damage that it does to the earth and all that crap. So it's almost like kind of a problem reaction solution kind of deal a little bit, that they kind of like all that's rooted in painting humanity as a problem to the place that like they were given authority to be stewards of.
Yeah.
So it's probably got more to play into that. Just sell
Maybe. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Yeah. Q, it's good to see you, fella. Happy Pride, big guy. We're so excited to see your Theo Vaughn looking at in the stream. Very excited. Very excited to see you. So in keeping with this whole depopulation theme, let's take a look at this first video here. It's disturbing to start out this. I meant to move this farther on down in the show, but we've already introduced the topic, so we're gonna run with it. I don't even know how to feel about it. This was uncomfortable to watch, even for me at home alone, just like by myself. Not for I don't know. Yeah, let's watch it. Fuck it.
Canadian government is now calmly laying out the case for euthanizing children. A brochure in Manitoba with the heading "Made for Children in Teens" explains how a special committee of MPs and senators has recommended allowing euthanasia for what they're calling mature minors. Even more chilling, it states that parents
this isn't
might
the one,
not be
John. It's the one before this.
and wouldn't need.
There you go.
Undercover and getting these ladies to actually say this.
We're looking for livers and cardiac.
So this footage is being filmed by an undercover journalist. He goes to the National Abortion Federation's commercial trade show. This is being hosted at one of the biggest Planned Parenthoods in Texas. And this journalist is here to talk business.
Not every time I do a meet a genie, I'm like, oh, there's some love.
Yeah, you already know.
And this lady is Dr. Ann. She's the chief medical officer of this Planned Parenthood. And Dr. Ann is in the business of selling baby cards.
You have to come and play with our tissue. See if it's cold enough for you.
I like tissues.
We have a lot of it.
And they're all like, yeah, that's pretty profitable too. We get 5 to 6 samples a week.
Most weeks, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Anywhere between 5 and 10 samples a week. So I have 2 providers who go up to 24 weeks, and Ann is one of the providers.
This lady is named Tram, and she's the vice president of abortion access at Planned Parenthood. And Tram's about to tell us how she loves freezing conjoined twin babies as prize specimens to look at.
We had 17-week twins in the freezer because we're waiting for funeral home to pick them up. They were like the most intact. And I was like, it's really cool though. There's like 3 legs and like 2 spinal cords.
Yes, she knows what she's doing is psycho.
I'm like, yeah, I have like a leg for you. I'm like, oh, if other people were to hear me, they'd be like, you're evil.
Now, you might think that this is illegal and the stuff varies in all states. Well, it is, but they have their ways of getting around that.
If I'm doing a procedure and I'm in fear that it's about to come to the umbilicus, I might ask for a second set of forceps to hold the body.
All right, we don't want to hear any more of this shit. This is going to get real disturbing real fast.
Dude, that is one of the most generally disturbing things I've ever seen. They're having a party and hooking people up with organs from aborted fetuses at like a networking event. I don't even know what to do with that information. Like, how sick and twisted is that? That one girl was talking about how she's like a collector of weird fetal specimens. If she sees a like a three-legged conjoined twin that gets aborted, she'll just like keep it and freeze it in a jar.
That's crazy.
What kind of sick is this? And I mean, they're obviously. I think they just outlawed. I think definitely late term abortion in Texas. John, what the hell is it? There it goes. All right, that's better.
There we go. Sorry, that was going to drive me crazy.
It was driving me crazy looking at your blurry ass. You already look blurry enough with that beard. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was terrible with the. I don't know. This is the best I could do. But it looks beautiful, John. Don't listen to me. It looks sexy. You're a raven-haired dandy boy, and we like it. But how twisted is this? Like, that is one of the most sick things I've ever seen on the social media. Like, forget all the shootings and decapitations. These ladies are collecting aborted fetuses.
Yeah,
and then selling their organs.
Yeah, it's a weird business. It's like organ like harvesting is kind of a big business too.
It's a massive business.
Not just like, aborted fetuses, like adults too. Don't be an organ donor.
No, I mean, who the hell knows what they're going to do with your organs?
Yeah.
But like, I mean, from a business perspective, it's very rational. It's like a restaurant making sure to save all the trimmings from the beef. Like, hey, we had a beef liver left over. Let's fucking use it, because that's what these people think about babies, which is the most sick thing. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't even know what to do with that statement, Q. I don't know, especially when we're talking about aborted fetuses. I don't know what to do with me presenting my ass like a peacock during a discussion about harvesting organs from aborted fetuses. I don't know what to do with that. So in my opinion, that's just one way they're kind of running this depopulation agenda. Is I mean, making abortion is convenient as possible. We just had like this. It's weird how that came along in conjunction with a sexual awakening, if you will, in the populace. Like, we see this transition, I guess, in like the 90s into the early 2000s, of just like casual sex not just being like a thing that was circumstantially evident in like television and at the office, but like a thing that was talked about more openly. Like, everybody's living together on TV, everybody's banging all the time, everybody's doing the sex constantly, in conjunction with all these abortion clinics popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
It's a little weird how that happened at the same time. And now it's equally weird that we're seeing kind of this sexual drive of especially younger people running in the other direction. We've talked about it before on this show, where like, this is going to sound creepy because I don't know a better way to say it, but like, kids are having less sex. I don't know how to say that in a less weird way, but like, people are having people under the age of like 30, 25 to 30 are having less sex. There's less sex drive in people of that age. They're all whacking off to OnlyFans models, or they're on OnlyFans.
or they're just these weird asexual, just like zimzers out there talking about how, well, I identify as a two-spirit gay wad, and this is my friend Susan, who identifies as a cisgendered queer dog, who actually that dog identifies as a guzzling pig. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but she identifies as a couple of different things. So if we could all respect that, that would be very helpful. It's strange how we've gone from like the days of everybody's banging in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s and abortion clinics just popping up all over the place to now we're seeing this strange movement even in regular people who aren't, covered in blue hair and weird tattoos of Naruto. We're seeing less, I don't know, like less of an urge to connect with other people. I guess that's what I see it as an outgrowth of. And I feel like I talk about it a weirdly large amount on the show, but I see it as an outgrowth of people not wanting to connect with other people. Because that's like the most you're going to connect with a human being, unless you're some kind of psychopath. Like that's the most you're going to connect with another human being. And so what I see that is like a symptom of is human beings not wanting to connect with other human beings.
Right.
It seems like a direct result of that to me, which is, I guess, why it concerns me. So this is me working through my own thoughts live on the show. You're welcome, folks. But I guess that's why that disturbs me so much, and why I keep like coming back to it, talking about it, is because it seems like people have less and less of a desire to connect with one another. They'd rather just go jerk off in front of their TV on the couch.
Yeah.
Like that's where we've come to. We talked about it the other night with the clones discussion. For anybody who missed that, we'll have that out, this weekend?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
on
check that out when it comes out. Yeah. Okay. So check that out when it comes out, because I thought that was just a bunch of really interesting information. But we're finding ourselves in this place where, you watched science fiction movies as a kid. Like I was born in the 90s. You watched science fiction movies as a kid about these weird dystopian futures. I mean, things like The Matrix, things like Person of Interest, things like 1984, Westworld, Dune. Like they're all weird. People are asexual, carrying around like tablets, they're teleporting everywhere. They're clones and and like we're at a place now where even if you're coming at this discussion from like what's public common knowledge from that angle, we're there, folks. Like we had a long discussion about this on the Clones app. We're there. Like we're there. I don't even know how else to say that, but we're there. We're in that weird dystopian future. Wake up and smell the burning flesh of the Terminator. We're there. John, any thoughts before I just go off my rocker sounding like an insane person? Then we need to move on to this next video.
Yeah, I mean, it's all an attack on the creator's first command to humans is be fruitful and multiply. And you can kind of see, I don't know the best way to describe it, maybe a parabola on the chart is like it kind of starts with, the sexual revolution that you were talking about, like the late 80s and 90s. And, what does that breed? That breeds like the rise in no-fault divorce that goes in and kind of destroys like the concept of the nuclear family. And as that goes, also, obviously the abortion thing comes, with that. And that just spikes up to a level of crazy to where you get the that we just watched.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like you hit a peak and then you start kind of going back down. And then like the result on the other side of that parabola is, maybe where we're at now. It's like this kind of just, empty nihilism to where people aren't actually really doing anything. They're not socializing. They're not connecting with other people. They're just kind of, at the point where they're going through the motions in life. And, add all of like the economic forces that they've been hitting on like the younger generations with not being able to afford a house, not, living month to month to afford rent, it's kind of a perfect storm to just kind of stop people in their tracks from like doing the real shit in life. You know?
Make it so hard people don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who
And
wants to
make
have a
it to
kid?
where it's like at the same time culturally not significant anymore and not valued anymore.
Right. 100%, dude. I've historically been one of those. And like I guess I'm kind of on the path of recovery from that thought process. But like in college, I had no interest in these what I thought at the time were just like girls who
Right.
just like wanted to go raise a family. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Have bigger goals than that. Have bigger goals. How dare you want to be a mom and raise kids? Like how dare you? Have
Yeah,
a
man.
higher
It's a
calling
massive
in life.
inversion.
Yeah, and that was my thought process in school, man. Like 100% was my thought process. I remember saying that to a bunch of different people. I was like, bro, these girls are all they want to do is like fuck be a mom and have kids. I was the cut to the end of the story. I was the So, speaking of having children, guys, going to that next one, John. Speaking of having children, you might be able to have kids, but Canada's going to make sure they have the right to kill themselves. So, there's that. Let's listen.
The Canadian government is now calmly laying out the case for euthanizing children. A brochure in Manitoba with the heading "Made for Children in Teens" explains how a special committee of MPs and senators has recommended allowing euthanasia for what they're calling mature minors. Even more chilling, it states that parents might not be consulted and wouldn't need to give consent. Right beside it, a section on MAID for mental illness, reminding us that while 1 in 10 Canadians waits over 4 months for counseling, the wait for MAID is only 3. This isn't a one-off mistake. It's the logical outcome of a system that no longer views death as a tragedy, but as a treatment. In February 2023, a federal parliamentary committee officially recommended expanding MAID to include minors who are deemed capable of making such a decision. Their report concluded that age alone shouldn't determine eligibility for assisted death. Instead, it argued that some minors are competent enough to request their own deaths, effectively removing any meaningful age floor. Dying with Dignity Canada, or DWDC, one of the country's most influential advocacy groups on this issue, has gone even further. They've urged Parliament to lower the MAID age to, quote, at least 12, claiming these children should be presumed capable of making decisions about their own deaths, just as adults are. In Quebec, things have already crossed into dystopia. Provincial guidelines now allow doctors to administer MAID to patients who are unconscious or mentally incompetent as long as they previously gave advance consent. In defiance of federal homicide laws, Quebec prosecutors have even issued directives to protect doctors from prosecution. The slope is no longer slippery, it's vertical. Then there's Dr. Ellen Wee, one of MAID's most prolific practitioners, who has personally ended hundreds of lives. She describes the work as incredibly rewarding and brags hundreds is good. She avoids calling it euthanasia, reserving that term for pets, and instead prefers the sanitized label of assisted dying. This is how evil enters quietly, with sterile language and bureaucratic
Assisted
indifference. We've replaced compassion with convenience, therapy with termination, and healing with death. And now the state is preparing to offer it to children.
All of history before 1600 has been false.
Dude. The fact that they're trying to lower their assisted age of consent to 12. Let me tell you what kind of decisions I was making when I was 12, okay? And just discovering my body for the first time, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh dear Lord.
That's a lovely image, right? When I was 12, I would have seriously considered MAID assisted because, like, my parents couldn't afford the Star Wars figurine that I really thought was cool, or because the pretty girl that sat next to me in class called me a fat redheaded. Like, when I was 12, those are the things that would have made me consider assisted dying. And they're saying, to answer that question, Q, that they're saying in Canada that these kids are old enough to make their decisions, that parental consent is not necessary for, I think it's like children over the age of 12 or over the age of 16. How many 16-year-olds are at a point where they can make their own decisions about anything? I haven't been 16 in a minute. I'm still not sure I'm competent as far as making my own decisions is concerned, guys. I'm 32. And I'm still not sure I can make rational decisions for myself. I'm still not sure I can feed myself every day. And you're expecting 12-year-olds to be able to sit down and rationally reason out whether or not they should themselves next week. Or excuse me, 3 months from now, because the wait is a month shorter than getting therapy. So your best option, John, to get some relief is instead of going to a qualified therapist and having him tell you grew up to be a fat, why don't you just kill yourself? That's their solution. Why don't you just kill yourself? That is Canada's solution to all of their people's problems. Hey, got a divorce last month? Kill yourself. Hey, husband cheated on you? Kill yourself. Hey, said something in front of the guys last week and they called you a little yourself. Like, that's their solution to people's problems. And for some people, it might not be the worst, but in general, where are we headed? Like, this seems like just one more step down this weird depopulation agenda highway, which again, I don't understand. Like, I can't fathom why the powers that be would want less people walking the streets doing their bidding. Like, wouldn't you want more of that? And the kind of people who are going to follow along with the type of shit you want people to do, the kind of people who are going to be prime candidates for things like MK Ultra, are the kind of people who are going to be like sucking it, biting at the bit to get in one of these weird MAID pods. So I'm not 100% sure what the end game of this is. But it's super hella creepy that they're trying to allow 12-year-olds to just wake up one day and decide they want to end their own life.
Yeah, dude. It's end stage. I don't even know what to call it end stage of. Like,
You can say end stage capitalism. Canada's a socialist nation.
Yeah, and that's also just not like a good term for it. It's like just end stage, like almost like it's like the end stages of like self-absorption. You know, it's almost where it gets to is like you get to the point where it's just like I cannot face any type of hardship at all, because for what, like, either you know, I guess on two spectrums of either, you know, you're too much of a coward or you're too much of a narcissist to think you either can't handle it or you don't deserve it, so you just like take the out of it. But it's just like it's such a crazy like leap off the cliff of those like personality issues, you know? Like
yeah. I mean, talk about turning the dial to 11.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you had a bad week at work? Kill yourself. Like, it's almost like taking that whole like trope, that whole comedic trope ad absurdum, like make it so absurd, it's almost unbelievable. Like, hey, did you stub your toe? Yourself.
Yeah. That's a great point. It's like they've taken, like, you know, the ad absurd, like you take your most boomer Republican, their like ad absurdum argument to Obamacare was this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You go back in 2010.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It was something
point,
like
man.
this. And it's like making that a reality.
Dude, Q in the chat having a uncharacteristically deep thought here, but he said, well, think about the trauma of the family members left behind. I believe trauma imprints on the DNA and is passed down. A traumatized population is easier to control. Dude, that is spot on, Q.
Yeah.
Like that could not be more correct. Like even modern like fake science will tell you epigenetically, like your genetic code changes when you're traumatized. Like that is 100% true. And then there are things like water memory, like water remembers the frequencies it's exposed to, right? And our frequency changes based on like the kind of environment we're living in, the kind of trauma we face. And so it's not just your DNA, it's like the very fabric of the that makes up who you are. The water in your body changes as a result of the types of, traumas you're exposed to. Q, that's such a good point, man. Such a good point. Yeah. JC, they make modern life as unbearable as possible to give people a shorter and shorter fuse and offer people MAID, pretending it's just a voluntary option. Chat's killing it tonight, guys. Like, it's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. Let's make life as difficult as we possibly can. Like, I don't know the state of things in Canada. I don't know if Californians have started buying up every house in Canada, but we might start thinking about that here in Tennessee because they're everywhere. And it's making life borderline impossible. Borderline impossible. Interesting thought, Q. Take someone nuts to take themselves out. They're essentially taking out
Yes.
Take someone with the most headstrong sets of bitches we've got.
Oh, there's gonna be so much bleeping in this Tuesday.
There will be, but thankfully we have the new program that we're doing that with, John, so it won't be so bad.
That's true.
All right. I'm tired of talking about. So let's move on. And by the way, there's good news, folks. Maybe you're one of those people with a loved one who decided to, buy the farm, push up daisies, who decided to go, mark a meter with the MAID, as it were. Trump has come out and let us know. Trump has come out with a drug that can bring you back from the dead, and he has let the public know that they gave it to somebody who didn't have a pulse, and they came back from the dead. So, President Donald J. Trump, ladies and gentlemen.
But you do need a period of time. Without waiting many, many years, we know the drug works because we've taken people that were dead. We had a person given the last rites, gone. The kids are crying and started them on this drug, and the person became better. It works, and some don't work. But you learn really fast. It's called the ultimate test, I think, right? They test all these things. They use animals all over the place. They use everything to test. Person's going to die.
Trump talking about clinical trials is my favorite thing ever. They use animals to test it, and it was wild, man. Dude, they stopped breathing, they came back, bro. It's awesome. It's like hearing a frat boy describing what they learned in science class. Like, that's what it reminds me of. And it's so fun. But he's alleging they've come out with a drug that can cure death. And I think that's exciting. We're killing people off in Canada and here in the States. Let's get the miracle Trump drug out there and bring people back from the dead, man. What do you think the name of this drug will be, John? Chat, let us know. What do you think the name of this drug is going to be?
Ooh.
What do you think the name of this miracle drug is going to be? Like Trumptofan, or like, Trump Zach, What do you think? John, you look like the wheels are turning.
They are. I don't have anything good.
Yeah, I'm excited about this new Trump wonder drug. It's going to be exciting. And I forgot to put that. Oh yeah, speaking of drugs, John, go down to the safe and effective one down there. Speaking of drugs, the CDC is trying to launch, I can't remember what company, I think it's Pfizer, is trying to launch a new jab. And guess what, guys? I know this is a surprise, but they're safe and effective. Because that's all you need. Anytime somebody asks me, like, hey, is that gun gonna kill a deer? I'm like, yes, it is. It's safe and effective. Well, if I point it in myself, how it's safe and effective. Don't you worry. It's safe and effective. And that's what these sons of bitches are. So let's listen.
So is this available now?
This is not available now. It should be available in a few months. I have a feeling with this spotlight, they may fast track it. It's a completely safe based on older technology. It's not something that we don't know about. It's using proteins and basically peptides to target the Lyme, part of the proteins on the Lyme Borrelia. It's called the back.
Is this the dude Trump brought back from the dead?
Maybe he looks like it, man. He looks the Jude Trump brought back from the dead. That guy looks aggressively Jayish.
Bacteria itself. Very, very, very promising. It's going to be useful. Last time we had a Lyme vaccine, nobody took it. This is safe, effective. I think we're going to get a lot of use out of it.
So is this vaccine?
I mean, is this going to be the next thing they try to push on people with this tick outbreak?
Yeah,
they're
now
trying to
that
scare
they've
the
told
shit out of people with.
ticks exist.
Yeah, they're like, oh, by the way, you might get bit by a tick out in the forest. You might get alpha gal, and your dick's gonna fall off because you can't eat a cow for the next month. Get this Lyme disease jab. Get this Lyme disease. It's safe and effective. Just like the gun you shot the deer with.
Californians with the outside, and now they can do whatever they want.
It's amazing how they've done that. Like, be afraid of the outside. We had Corona in 2020 where, like, don't go outside. Some invisible virus is gonna get you. It's like the boogeyman, man. They're like, it's gonna get you. We had a back at the restaurant I worked at. His name was Jeff. He had long hair and looked like a rat. And he would come at you with these tongs, right? I worked at an Italian restaurant where we had these bread ovens. You'd put the bread in and pull it out with these long tongs. He'd come at you and grab your ass with the tongs and be like, I'm gonna get you. That's what I imagine these like Jewish scientists do with syringes at Pfizer. They just chase people around, poking them in the ass, like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Safe and effective. I'm gonna get you. That was a visceral image for me. I don't know if it was for anybody else, but that Lyme disease is problematic. I'm still not sure what the hell it is, but like you and I both known people who've had it and it's ruined their lives for a minute.
Yeah.
But I just, why? We're just trying to make people more and more afraid of going outside. That seems to be part of what they're trying to do. Like, be afraid of the sun, right? Because you get skin cancer from the sun, allegedly. Be afraid of viruses. You might get a virus from, Meemaw down the road who might breathe in your general direction. And then your nipples might fall off because you got the Rona and that happens. You might not be able to taste your wife's shit food for a month. And then you might get bit by a tick. And I don't know what happens if you get bit by a tick. You might, I don't even know. Somebody told me yesterday that there's supposedly a cure for alpha gal out there that they've just been suppressing, which made some sense. This girl, I met this girl at work, and she was telling me that they're acupuncturists who were curing it with acupuncture needles in the ears.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I hadn't heard that at all.
Can't remember that nutritionist from Tennessee that has the really deep Southern voice was talking.
Oh, is it
shows up on Facebook Reels?
Was it Ken Berry?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, he used to run a clinic here in Tennessee in Camden, John. That's where his clinic used to be. You know where that is. Then it burned down. His clinic burned down in like 2020. Just happened to burn down.
Interesting.
Yeah. A little weird.
Yeah.
A little weird.
It's crazy how much even like the sell for some of these jabs, because it used to be like, hey, if you get the jab, you won't have to worry about like, eating right to protect yourself from disease or exercising to protect yourself from disease. Now you don't have to worry about tucking your pants in your boot. Just get this jab. You don't have to tuck your pants in your boot.
Right, because that's
eliminating all of these inconveniences in life. Now you don't have to do that. You can walk around in the woods You can walk around in the woods barefoot if you get a job.
Yeah. Well, they tried to do that, dude. They tried to do that even back in the like 20s when they were trying to scare people about walking around outside barefoot because they might get hookworm. Like, they keep trying to run that same play, but you're exactly right. It's just another ploy to like get people to hand over their decisions, their self-agency, to hand over their thought process to somebody else to say, here, take charge of my life. I don't want to do that anymore. Take charge of it. You tell me when I should get a shot. You tell me when I should kill myself. I mean, you tell me all that. I'll just listen to you. You tell me when I should kill myself. Speaking of killing yourself, let's discuss all of these scientists who've just gone missing out of the blue. I don't know what's happening, but there has been just an array of I don't know if it's abductions. Well, it's murders because they found several of these people dead. I don't know what the hell's happening to these people, but we found yet another dead scientist up in, where was this? New Mexico, Arizona, one of those deserty states.
New Mexico.
It was another person who had worked at Los Alamos Laboratories. And this just seems a little strange to me, not because they're killing off a bunch of scientists, because quite frankly, I don't know how much these people really know as far as the science in quotations is concerned. But what I do wonder about is why such a large number of them are going missing. Like, I can understand, one or two disappearing here or there, but the sheer what are we up to? 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there? We've had a bunch. Let me find out how many scientists.
It's like 9 or 10 now.
That's one of the first things that comes up in Google when I type it in is how many scientists have died recently. At least 10 to 14 scientists and researchers linked to nuclear, aerospace, and defense programs have died or gone missing since 2023. They're picking these people off, and I wonder, give me your thoughts on this, John. We've got this disclosure headed down the pipe. It seems increasingly more imminent every day. Could it be that these people aren't even necessarily whistleblowers? Maybe they don't know all this, but they know enough to potentially become whistleblowers. So it's just like preemptive strike. We're going to get rid of him. Or is this just a really fun, clever way to drum up interest in all of the disclosure that's coming down the pipe?
I mean, it's probably both, right? Because this has been a nice little mystery novel for the past, really, like 8 months, right? And then you also is like, these people may actually, wouldn't be surprised if some of them knew. Like, hell, there could be a human sacrifice element to it as well. Ancient people sacrifice people to the gods all the time.
That's true. I hadn't occurred to me.
Pulling that out of my ass real quick. But it's probably like an all-encompassing element. But I think the biggest one is probably that it's a nice little mystery novel for people.
Yeah. I mean, it's capturing the attention of the public.
This entire thing along. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. It does seem like a much better way to get people who aren't necessarily interested in like the disclosure narrative to pay attention to it. Because it seems to be, the disclosure narrative does seem to be, and I'm not trying to be a sexist here, folks. I realize it's Pride Month. I'm not trying to offend any sensitive people out there, but it seems to be mostly dudes that are interested in the disclosure narrative, like mostly guys. I don't know too many like 35-year-old white women who are like wondering about aliens when they go to bed. I know a lot of guys who go to sleep thinking about that, but I don't know any like 22-year-old white ladies who do that.
You got to give them a true crime story. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, 100%. Like, are we coming up with a true crime story for all the women out there to get them interested in the disclosure narrative? That's what this seems like to me.
Yeah, good work.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the move. I don't know. I don't know. So it is weird that these people keep going missing. Now, moving on from the scientists and disclosure, because we've talked about that enough recently. Guys, John and I are both soccer fans. We both enjoy the football. Yes, it is a little gay. All right. But we have the World Cup coming up soon. It's very exciting. And, you know, we've made sure that people in the United States are safe by purchasing some of Boston Dynamics' finest robot canine patrollers. Let's take a look. This thing has facial recognition software, and they're rolling these out for crowd control in at least Dallas. But guys, it's not weird and dystopian because it can dance. And we're all happy because it's Pride Month. We're all doing a bunch of dancing, so be happy that the weird robot dog that's going to try to chop your dick off is going to be dancing in front of you at the Dallas World Cup. We're very excited about it. How creepy is the name Boston Dynamics, too? I'm pretty sure there was a TV show in like 2010 where the main like bad guy was a corporation named Massive Dynamic. Maybe that's just a coincidence. There's something about the name Boston Dynamics that just seems creepily dystopian to me. Johnny, just generically scrolling through the comments. What are you doing?
Yeah.
All right. But they're rolling these dogs out for allegedly security purposes at these World Cup events, and it seems like just another simple way to make it seem normal that we're going to be patrolled by AI powered robots. Just another way to make that normal. Just another way to do that. We did the same thing with actively doing the same thing with like food deliveries and driverless cabs at this point.
Yeah.
Like I had no clue how popular driverless cabs had become, but they're all over some of these big cities. Like Waymo has become this massive thing.
Yeah, dude.
Where like everybody's using these driverless cabs. Same for food delivery robots.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for the advice, Q. We will try not to the robot dog. I will do my best not to do that. But they're rolling these things out slowly enough, and it's not even secretive, but it's slowly enough that nobody's getting concerned about it. Like if there was a massive bolus of these on the street next week, I think people would probably freak out a little bit. But it starts out with just like ones and twos.
Yeah. It starts
And nobody
out
thinks anything of it.
Starts out with the threat of a bunch of foreigners walking down the streets of Foxborough, and that's how they sell it.
And we don't want that. We can't have that. So we're going to find a solution one way or another. See if you're an illegal or not with this robot dog. Can you imagine a robot dog trying to arrest you? Like how would you even react to that?
Seems like you can just like tip this thing like a cow and walk away.
I mean, it seems like it, but dude, have you seen
it has like good enough like joints to get back upright?
I mean, maybe this thing doesn't, but I mean, have you seen some of these robots they have out there now?
Yeah,
we looked at some during the clone set, but they're doing like ninja shit. And I mean that very literally. Like they're doing ninja shit.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time before those are commonplace.
Yeah.
It's creepy as hell, dude. Creepy as how long is it before a robot cop steals your girlfriend at a bar? How long is it before that? You're sitting down having a nice drink with your lady, and a robot cop walks up and is like, "Hey, sweetheart, want to suck my oil can?" You know? I feel like that's not too far off. Dude, Neff Hunter, you may be right. I could definitely see an alien appearance at the World Cup. When's that White House UFC event, John? Do you remember? July 4th?
Yeah, it's 4th of July weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Watch
That's
party.
going to be exciting. Yeah, we're going to have to. We're going to have to do a watch party that weekend. We're not going to have a choice. You going to be around?
I don't know. If I am, we can do one.
All right. Well, we'll try and make that happen because that will be epic. That will be epic. All right. So, speaking of all this New World Order stuff, guys, we just had everybody's favorite Russian president, Mr. Vladimir Putin. We're talking Putin on a bear, shirtless on a horse on the beach. We're talking that guy coming out and saying we're about to have problems with a new world order. And I don't know what to make of this because he's been doing like this for like the last 8 months.
We're not just full of crucial and quite often dramatic events of truly historical scale. Before our eyes, a completely novel world order is taking shape.
Why did they get an Asian to translate a Russian into English?
That's a great question.
That seems like going through way too many filters.
They couldn't have gotten a good American to do that. Americans can learn Russian.
Well, it's just like it seems to just be a little bit too complicated.
Yeah, that's too many. That's
Too
too
many
many
channels.
filters. Yeah, true story.
I'm going to rewind this. Sorry.
All right.
We're not just full of crucial and quite often dramatic events of truly historical scale. Before our eyes, a completely novel world order is taking shape, and it's unlike everything that we know from the past. For example, Westphalian system or Yalta system. New powers are emerging. The nations understand more clearly their interests, their self-worth, uniqueness, and identity. They're ever more insistent in achieving their goals of development and justice. At the same time, societies are coming across a greater number of new challenges, from breathtaking technological breakthroughs to devastating natural catastrophes, from outrageous social inequity to massive waves of migration and most acute economic crises. 2 decades, we're not
She goes back and forth between speaking perfect English and then like just the campiest Asian accent ever.
I know. I'll
She
be
go
honest,
from saying-
I was really struggling to listen at all what was being said because it was just so distracting.
I get that. I didn't notice it the first time I listened to that. Shout out to Neff Hunter, by the way, for all he sent us a bunch of links this week. We're talking about a bunch. I don't even remember which are which now. But guys, if you have any stories or any news articles, any social media things, shoot them our way. DM us. Join the Patreon and get in the Discord chat. Send us all of the links. You can email us, theveritasroad@gmail.com. So send us all that stuff. But that lady's accent was very distracting. Putin is saying there's a new world order out there, and she went back and forth between the Asian and the American accent a lot. That being the case, I don't know what to think about the whole Putin thing anymore, because like we have our mainstream media trying to make sure we hate him, which is I get, but like that Russia's allegedly we covered this a little while back, but they're allegedly welcoming Christians into the country with open arms, and he's coming out talking about like people being wary of the new world order. Now, is this just the like geopolitical international version of Trump coming out and saying he's anti-establishment, you know? When he obviously is part of the system? Or is there some element somewhere in there of reality to this? I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt these days because I feel like I've reached a point where anytime I see any figure who's more famous than like my high school science teacher saying anything, I just assume they're an Illuminati and they're a part of the conspiracy. So I'm trying not to have my tinfoil hat on all the time. Is there any possibility, John, chat, is there any possibility that is a legitimate warning about the New World Order? Is there any world in which Putin's just an evil child guy who's concerned about the New World Order? Is there any world where that's the case?
I mean, yeah, revelation of method's a thing. They put truth in plain sight all the time. So I mean, happens in politics all the time. Generally, in the way these people operate, there are layers upon layers upon layers of meaning, and their reality is different than like the reality that they're espousing to speak in. So
Yeah.
it's like whatever he says has a different meaning than what the audience takes it as, and so forth and so on. So you have to kind of view it in that light.
That's fair. I don't even have anything else to say about that. I just think it's weird that he's coming out about that. So, guys, we probably need to wrap this up soonish. I've got to go to bed because I'm 150. So we're gonna rapid fire go through these last couple. We're having riots. You remember in 2020 when we had a bunch of riots for ethnic people? Well, now we're having a bunch of riots for white people in the UK. They're having their own George Floyd over there, but it's a white kid who got stabbed.
I shouldn't laugh at that. I should not laugh at that. It's just the I can't breathe.
I know.
Brought back some.
It's amazing how many parallels have been drawn between this kid and George Floyd. So what supposedly happened, and if this kid actually did like get stabbed and lose his life, that is very sad. I'm not trying to make light of a kid being stabbed, but 18-year-old Henry Novak, whatever, in December, his killing received renewed attention after the killer was sentenced to life in prison, and a video of the police's response to the 18-year-old child was released that pissed a lot of people off. The killer, who is none other than a guy named Vikram Digwa, 23, who just happens to be a Sikh, reported that
I don't even know what is that.
It's some kind of Muslim, dude. It's some kind of Muslim.
Okay. Just remember that was the turban wearing guy from The Office that everyone was afraid of.
Right. That's true. Jordan Peterson would be so disappointed in me that I haven't made my bed. I am a piece of shit. And I hope you can forgive me. I really do. I really do. I've been too busy stopping dog fights in my house to make my bed. Yeah. Jordan Peterson would be disappointed, and I'm ashamed of that, Q, and I hope you can forgive me. I do. So,
I was wondering how long it was going to take somebody to notice, since we switched these to the remote for somebody.
It took
to
a
mention
minute.
Your unmade bed.
It took a minute. Maybe people were just not saying anything to be nice. But
someone finally decided to judge you out in the open.
Yeah, and I respect that.
Good for you, Q.
Yeah, respect, Q. It will continue to be unmade for probably the entire time I have this camera facing my bed, which hopefully will change at some point. But anyway, I digress. 23-year-old Vikram
you don't have any control over that.
Right. What, John?
Never mind.
What did you say? Okay. 23-year-old Vikram Digwa, who is a Sikh, I don't know why I did that in an Indian accent, because he's clearly not Indian if he's a Sikh, right? Are they Muslim? I don't know. He claimed he was the victim of a race attack by Novak, who happens to be a white. Police who arrived on the scene took him at his word and allegedly just wrote this kid off. And so after this kid was apprehended, because he got stabbed, okay? He got stabbed by this Vikram guy, and then he told the police, this is one of those weird parallels. He's like, I can't breathe. And then he passed away later on. You know, Q, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm gonna take that as a compliment that you didn't want to look at me yet. I'm gonna take that as a compliment. And so in this video, which I haven't seen, he's repeatedly saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. The officer's like, you've been stabbed? Where? Don't think you have, man. And then this kid died. Now, maybe this is, you know, this story is obviously very sad. Okay. Some 18-year-old kid with, that's very sad and unfortunate. This says this article says he knocked off the turban of the seat guy and pulled his hair, and that's why he stabbed him. So some school bullying turned into a stabbing. But the parallels between this and George Floyd are clear. And the thing that continues to get me about all of these stories that continue to come out, continue to be big in the mainstream media, like this story about this kid who was like Charlie Kirk, like whatever that was in Renee Good, like the shooting in Australia, like George Floyd. They're all aggressively polarizing. Like if you take some time to sit down and read through these stories back to back to back to back, they almost seem like the narratives are written by the same person, because what they've done is, and I'm not trying to be that tinfoil hat person that says all these stories are manufactured. For all I know, these are all very real and have happened, and they're very sad. Okay, that all these people have died, but at a minimum, whoever is disseminating these stories, writing them up, spinning the narrative, is building up two completely different archetypes that are so aggressively polarizing, you can't help but see it. Like if you take the time to read through this story where we've got a white kid who happens to get by a brown immigrant wearing a turban. If you go look at the lady who tried to, allegedly run over, like a lesbian poet who tries to run over an ICE agent in Minnesota, a black guy who gets by some white cops, and what was that, like Philadelphia or wherever the hell it was. Like they're all as polarizing as they could possibly be. Whoever's writing this is building up the most polarizing archetypes for these characters as they possibly can. And so that at a minimum is very purposeful. Very purposeful to try to continue the just mass confusion and division that comes out of that, or maybe vice versa, the mass division and confusion that comes out of that. It's very clear what these people are trying to do. John, thoughts?
No, man, I think you hit the nail on the head there, man. You get to the point where it doesn't really matter if it's real or not, because the outcome is the same regardless. No.
I mean, 100%. And like sympathies to these people's families. That's all, super sad, rough. And I hate that for them. But whoever's writing these stories is clearly doing their best to make them as polarizing as possible. Like I can't think of a way to make these narratives any more polarizing. And that's, and I would argue, clearly by design.
It has the same result all the time, where it drums up, especially like right-wingers can't figure out that they are set up to just be reactionaries to shit. It sets these people up to like react and get angry about shit and then do absolutely nothing.
100%.
Yeah. The UK is a hellhole, and like if you take any like espouse like right-wing values of like preserving homogeny and culture, well, good job. You're 30 years too late to the party, right? So it just kind of drums these people out, lets them kind of shout and be angry, and then puts them back in a box, and the whole thing keeps going on its merry way.
Yeah.
So it's like people kind of need to recognize that and disengage from it. Because ultimately you're going to end up, right, set up like that, moron in Tennessee who's, probably going to prison for the rest of his life, or all those people, who stormed the Capitol in, January 6th, and you're going to end up getting screwed over by the system,
Yeah, and there's a difference between like actually doing something constructive and just being too. Like, those are two different things.
Yeah.
And you're right about the reactionaryism. I don't even know what the adjective term of that version of that is, but you're 100% right. It sets people up on both sides of that aisle to just be reactionary, but still do nothing. It's almost the same concept as like the
sports a little bit.
Sports, even the
Like-
vaccination discussion we were having
Yeah.
earlier. Like, it's all the same thing. Like, get fired up, pretend like you're a man, or pretend like you're compassionate, and then do nothing.
Yeah. It's like it turns virtue signaling up to 11.
Yes, 100%. 100%. It gives people a reason to bitch and moan, but the luxury of doing that from their own home.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, man. Like, the fact that these work. I mean, they've worked on me for a long time.
Yeah.
So I get why people bite, but it's one of those things where you have to consciously take the time to try to see what's behind these almost character tropes they're building up. Like the way they, at a minimum, I'm not saying that they're making this up, but at a minimum, the way they like write these stories, the way they spin them, the way they build up these people like characters in a novel. And I get there's part of that might be just like good article writing, whatever, but there's a limit. There's a limit to how much creative license you can take in making, Renee Good the perfect liberal lesbian woman, and the ICE agent the perfect strong American man who just had to shoot that she was coming at him. Like, there's a limit to how much you can do with that.
Yeah.
And it not just be propaganda. We're at a point where it's just propaganda.
Yeah.
So, speaking of propaganda, guys, this is real. A billionaire named Stephen Deckoff bought Epstein's island. We got sent this from Nephilim Hunter. Thank you, Nephilim Hunter. Shout out to you, or whatever people do. We got sent this from him. I looked at this and thought, this is AI. It's fake. But something about the way the article was written made me want to look further into it. This is true. This is true. So this guy, Stephen Deckoff, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He is the billionaire owner of some kind of like private equity firm. And he bought both of Epstein's islands. Is this just Epstein 2.0? Like, is this just them making it so obvious that the same is still going on? Because that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, there's a little bit like that name definitely is like mocking you.
100%, dude. Go to that next article. CNBC covered this. So if you're one of those people who, doesn't think that you can find actual real news on Twitter or wherever, CNBC covered this. Billionaire Stephen Deckoff bought Jeffrey Epstein's private islands. Islands, plural. Dude bought both of them. Both of them. For $60 million. He is the owner of an equity firm called Black Diamond Capital Management. Looked it up. It's a real thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering where the sweet 15-year-old at your neighbor's house went next month, maybe take a look at this damn island. You would think, just from a rational human perspective, like, nobody nobody who is potentially like no one who's in the public eye is going to want to purchase these islands, right? Like that's the rational thought.
That dude has a mouth like a reptile.
He's so creepy looking,
Holy
man.
shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, look at that.
He is so creepy looking. And maybe part of it's just a middle-aged guy in a suit. Like, it's hard to not look creepy when you're a middle-aged guy in a suit these days. But he's a creepy looking. But I mean, if you ever needed evidence that, I mean, the same shit's still going on. These files being released, hasn't made a difference, right? Them telling Prince, whatever the hell his name is, that he's a bad boy, isn't changing anything. Like, nothing's changed, people. And it's weird that some folks had this illusion that it is, or that it would.
No.
Like, I don't think I ever did. I don't think you ever did. I don't think anybody I know personally and talk to on a daily basis was ever really of the opinion that, anybody was going to do any arresting or anything was going to happen. Like, this is just them saying, like, this plus Palm Beach Pete equals nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Simple math.
Yeah.
Simple math. Maybe we should start chopping these people's dicks off. I don't know. That could be a good punishment.
Burn that island down.
That's also an option.
Yeah, paint all the roofs first, but burn the island down.
Right. So that could be a good option. Shout out to Palm Beach Pete. Yes, Q. Shout out to Palm Beach Pete. All right. So that brings us, guys, to the end of Touch Me Tuesdays with one final exception. Have you ever wondered, that guy that chopped my dick off, what is he doing with his time now? A fun Where Are They Now segment. This is what the guy who chopped your dick off is doing with his Tuesday night.
A smoked bagel.
Guy's smoking a jubie, if you will. All right, folks. Anything else, John?
No, I don't know what to do with that.
I mean, what the hell is going on with some rabbi? That's what his entire channel. I looked into it because I came across my feed. That's his entire channel. It's just him making bongs out of weird things.
Fair enough.
Like bagels and just odd objects in his whatever that fur hat is called. That's what this guy does. Smoking jubies. I think that's what I'm going to call that from now on. He's a jubie brother, if you will. All right, folks. Well, that's all we got for tonight. If you're listening, guys, hit the like button, hit the follow button. Go, if you like the show, want to support the show. Best way to do that is to like and follow the show. That way, you'll get notifications about our streams, guys. We go live at random. And then, if you really like the show and want to support the show, go check out the Patreon. We do have some exclusive content there. You can join the Discord chat, which is just a grand old time. You can talk to Q or Nephilim Hunter in there, or me or John. I'm trying to be in there more often these days. And we do have some Patreon exclusive content that you can get access to on there. And then we've got some shows coming up. We gave those dates out at the beginning of the ep. So I guess, should I give those out again, John? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, we can. 6G Agenda this Sunday at what? 6:30 p.m. Doc Brown's coming on next Sunday at 3 p.m. This is all Central Time, real time. Then
Eastern time's for.
Yeah, we have Stacks and Drew coming on the 19th at 7 p.m. So good Juneteenth stream there will be a good time. And then
it's gonna be great.
Getting into next month, we got Zach from the Berean Files and coming over on our show on the 10th. July 10th at 7
p.m. Central Time on that too. Going to talk about symbolism with him. That will be interesting. Very excited about that. Yeah. So, All right, guys. Well, in addition to that, catch us live here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time for Touch Me Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Where we
Tune
talk
in
about the things that touched us this week, and hopefully we can touch you too. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, tune in this weekend if you missed our stream over clones. It will be re-airing live on all of our platforms on Saturday, probably around 8. And then I have an episode that I will probably air tomorrow. Meant to do that yesterday, but I got busy with something and missed it. So stay tuned for those.
Yeah, that clones episode was not to toot our own horns, but I thought that one was good. I enjoyed that one. So
Yeah,
definitely listening on that.
It's a long one. So
yeah, and it's heavy too. I will say it's kind of heavy.
No,
but I think it's a lot of good information in there.
Yeah,
So.
it's good time.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you guys this weekend. Right? This weekend? Sunday. We'll see you guys Sunday.